hello, and welcome to a new holiday special episode of the City Journal podcast. My name is Rafael Mangual. I am your host. So happy to be joined by my wonderful colleagues. We got Daniel Martino, Josh Appel. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Ho, ho, ho.
I like the hat. I like the hat, man. It is Christmas in New York. I love this season. It is my favorite time of the year. Christmas is my favorite holiday. And New York, I think, does it better than any other city in the world. Anybody care to disagree?
No, I think it's special. I'm very happy to be living here around Christmas time, especially, actually.
What's your favorite thing about Christmas in New York?
It's just that when you're a kid, you watch so many movies that are about Christmas in New York City.
True.
That I think that's what makes it special then when you live in it.
Right.
And I think we shouldn't lose sight of that. You know, you get used to it. And go to the Rockefeller Center. That's beautiful. The Central Park. See the snow. We're getting a very cold Christmas this year.
We're going to get snow this weekend.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's special.
I love it. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the windows.
Yeah, so I used to, growing up, my mother would always take us to the Macy's windows, and it's just the best. And then, my sisters would always, for the Gen Zers out there, take us to Juicy Couture to get the charm bracelets. Always a good time. But yeah, the Central Park, Rockefeller Center, it's just iconic, especially when there's snow. It's the best. MSG also.
The Saks Fifth Avenue
I was going to say the Saks windows, they do it right. Although it's gotten so crowded now, you can't even really enjoy it unless you're like going off hours because it's like the sidewalk is packed and you got NYPD directing traffic out there. But you mentioned Macy's. I don't know if you guys heard, but actually there was a Christmas shopper tourist, I think from California, who got stabbed in the 34th Street Herald Square Macy's yesterday by a homeless woman in the bathroom. I mean, imagine you're checking things off your list. You go to hit the head and some nut job jumps out and sticks a knife in you several times.
Well, there you go. Policy issues affect Christmas too.
That's right. That's right.
Crime.
I'm sure she's going to end up on Santa's naughty list. I want to talk a little bit about just holiday traditions. I mean, one of the gift I'm giving to myself this week for Christmas is that we're not going to talk too much about policy. And
really?
So I think we're going to take a little break from that.
That's a gift for you, for yourself?
It's all I think about, right? It's like every once in a while you need a mental break from all of that stuff. So I wanted to chat with you guys about just what your traditions are. For my part, I grew up in New York, so Christmas in New York, again, very iconic. I've gotten a chance to kind of see all of the things, but the one thing that was out of reach for a long time for me was the Christmas spectacular at Radio City, the Rockettes. And that was something I would always see the advertisements. I would see the commercials for it as a kid. And I knew we didn't have a lot of money. It wasn't until I think I was like 11 years old when we went for the first time. And it was, at that point, I'm not even, I'm beyond believing in Santa. I was like 11. So I'm like beyond believing in Santa and all that stuff. And we'll talk about that too. But it was like, it was incredible. And, my family and I, we went a few times, and it was one of those things where it was like an experience where I said, I'm doing this for my family no matter what. Like when I grow up, the Christmas spectacular will be a thing. And when my wife and I met our first Christmas and every Christmas since, we have gone to the Christmas spectacular.
Really?
And now we take our kids, and it is amazing every year. It's always
what
her
do they
birthday
do? I've
gift.
actually never been to one.
Oh my God, there's these like cool dance numbers and these little skits, and they bring the animals out, and it's fun.
Do they host it like every day, several times?
Yeah. There's multiple shows a day. Every day the Rockettes come out and dance and do the iconic leg kick, and it's amazing. And it's my favorite thing. I look forward to it every year, and just watching the kids' faces light up when Santa comes out, and the elves do their little dance. It's just
so you'd
awesome.
say it's mostly like families with kids because there's like a Santa thing.
Yeah, it's families with kids. Also a lot of dates.
Okay.
So especially the later shows, you get a lot of couples, and that was like, that was a thing for us. So my wife and I, before we had kids, we would always go out to a nice dinner and then go see the late show and then, go home. It was always a nice night. So that has become a solid Mangual family tradition that I absolutely love. Usually before or after the show, we'll take the kids to Rockefeller Center and see the tree and some of the windows, and that and the picture with Mall Santa. We can't skip that.
Which Santa do you take the picture for your kids to?
What do you mean?
That
Which
one,
mall?
Which mall? Right.
Oh, Roosevelt Field Mall out Long Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Mall Santa pictures. We have one for every year with the kids, and that's pretty cool. They get to tell them what they want, and he admonishes them to be good boys and girls, and it's the best. It's the best. What about you guys?
So for me, Christmas traditions are mostly around food.
Sure.
So while in Venezuela, obviously where I grew up, we make something called hallacas around Christmas. It's kind of like the Venezuelan tamal, if you've had Mexican tamales. Yeah. This is like plantain leaf around. It has almonds inside. It has, well, every Venezuelan does it a little differently. Okay. It has pulled chicken. Yeah. There's different recipes, but it's made with corn essentially. It's white. It's delicious, and it's very laborious to make. So it has to be a family affair. I'm making it with my mom this year, and then we also make an Italian sweet called cagionetti, which is from my grandparents' region, and it's made with chestnut and chocolate.
That sounds delicious.
That's the filling, and it's fried, and it's wow.
Wait, fried chestnuts and chocolate?
You gotta sign me up.
Sign me up. I'll bring to the office. I'll bring many. We're gonna make a lot. You can freeze them too, and then you can reheat them in the microwave.
Tell me when. I'm breaking my diet for that.
Yeah. It's so good.
So our little food tradition, that there's something, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I mean, well, you for sure, but coquito, have you heard of it?
No, actually, maybe I have.
It's
chocolate?
No, it's like it's basically like a Caribbean take on eggnog. It's like a rum-based, creamy, cinnamon, sweet, vanilla, drink. Yeah, but it's thinner than a milkshake, but the alcohol comes off, and it's like, so my mom will make, she starts saying.
Is it like ponche crema?
Kinda, yeah. Okay.
Do you guys do you have like a holiday party and then you will serve it?
No. So what my mom will do is she'll start saving wine bottles and empty liquor bottles leading up to Christmas, and then she will make batches for everyone, and that she gives it to all the family members and friends, and it's like what we're drinking around the tree on Christmas and stuff. So that's our one Christmas specific thing that we consume. We always have a nice dinner, but
Okay.
Yeah. What about?
So I don't celebrate Christmas as a holiday. I'm Jewish, so I do celebrate Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Hanukkah, however you want to pronounce it or spell it, there's 20 different ways.
Yeah. I never know when it's Jewish people.
I think it's transliterated in Hebrew. It's a cha. It's a Hanukkah. Mm-hmm. It's a chet in Hebrew. So it is a cha.
Then why do people use the C?
That's what the CH.
The CH would be the
phlegmy Jewish sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, CH.
Oh.
So I think in Venezuela you would say cha, right, for CH, but
yes,
we pronounce it as cha. Because there really isn't an English. So sometimes they have an H with a dot under it. That's another way. So I think most Jewish Americans, and especially Jewish New Yorkers, there's this hybrid of, on the one hand, you're celebrating Hanukkah,
right?
Includes all of its very beautiful family get-togethers, and we have our own, ethnic foods, certain European delicacies, and
like what?
So there's something called latkes, which are just fried potatoes. The joke is that, the story of Hanukkah is that the Greeks tried to destroy the Jewish people's culture and impose their Greek culture on the Jewish people, which included physical fitness and, this beautiful Adonis culture. And so the Jews, to get back at the Greeks, go the exact opposite. fried potatoes and jelly donuts. And it's a lot of, donuts. It's very good, but you feel very gross by the end. There's some people who have, I wouldn't call it a tradition. It's more of just a social media trend to have a donut per as many candles as you light that night. So you end up having 80 donuts if you really keep with that. But then also we do.
I may have to convert.
Yeah, honestly, it's a great time. And it's very family oriented. So this coming week we have about 3 or 4 different family get-togethers with us. Especially now I'm married, so multiplies the amount of get-togethers.
For sure,
great. But also, as I grew up in Queens. I lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
And
where in Queens did you grow up? Remind me.
I grew up in Jamaica Estates.
Got it.
And now I live in Bayside in Queens, and so it's not so far on the subway. And so again, a great family holiday tradition was always, first of all, we used to go to Thanksgiving Day Parade as often as we could. My grandpa would take
the Macy's one.
Yeah, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That was awesome. It also always included, watching all these holiday movies, and holiday-themed TV shows from Seinfeld and Friends, and just this iconic New
You grew
York
up watching
City.
Friends too?
Oh, sure, yeah, that was the best.
I grew up watching Friends in Venezuela.
The Thanksgiving and Christmas episodes were like so fun, and then we would come to the city and we'd see the twinkling lights and go to Broadway and Times Square and the M&M store and the Red Steps, and we'd usually go to dinner and a show. And the best though ever was my mom's birthday is in December. And one year for her present, my dad got us tickets to see Billy Joel at the Garden over Christmas. And that was
Long
Island stand up, man.
That was like all of the New York centric sort of culture coming together, and it was just amazing. So that was a great, I can't call it a tradition, but definitely a memory that sticks out to me.
You mentioned Seinfeld, which is, I think, the best show ever made.
Agreed.
Explains all of life.
Hands down.
Explains all of
Friends
life.
much better.
I was going to say,
but I have been to the Seinfeld restaurant because it's near Columbia.
Yeah, it's right on Broadway.
It's actually not pricey or anything. It's like
just like a regular diner.
I was going to say that when you were talking about taking your kids to meet Santa, I hope you didn't have like this communist.
But I was going to say that is my favorite Christmas episode where Kramer becomes a mall Santa for that episode with his friend, and Elaine starts dating a communist, and so the communist starts trying to convert Kramer. You're working all these hours, and are you getting a break? And what happens if your face gets itchy from the fake beard? Are they going to be there with a health plan? And he ends up getting Kramer fired.
Oh wow!
No, because that Kramer
communism never ends well.
Kids. Yeah, and the kids like, get out of here, you Tommy. Which shows, by the way, like the cultural. He was even instilled in the kids back then.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here with that
it was
garbage.
Like, you're still coming off the Cold War, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When was this? When was
that episode? I want to say like 93, 94, that episode.
Yeah, so everybody remembered that.
Absolutely.
You said the concert, Billy Joel. I'm actually taking my mom to see Andrea Bocelli for Christmas in Madison Square Garden. So
you're a good son.
Thank you.
Good son. I feel
that's a good
Andrea Bocelli is like going everywhere. He just like did the concert in the White House for Trump twice. Yeah, like it's like Trump is obsessed with him. Milei gave him an award in Argentina to Andrea Bocelli. No, he's amazing, and I bet he's going to sing a lot of Christmas songs.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. All right. Well, we started talking about Christmas TV shows, but I want to talk a little bit about Christmas movies. I mean, one classic that everyone brings up this time of year is "It's a Wonderful Life," which is a beautiful story. I rewatched the movie yesterday, and what my kids allowed me to watch of it because it was like between dinner time, bath time, bedtime, and all that stuff. But I mean, it is. It's a beautiful story. It's a sort of like quintessential American tale. This beautiful, small, quaint town comes together to back Mr. Bailey, and you've got the villain, Mr. Potter, but I found myself this time around expressing a lot more sympathy for Mr. Potter.
I think Bailey would have voted for Mamdani.
Am I the only one who called?
This is like in The Simpsons. The older you become, the more you sympathize with Mr. Burns. This is exactly like that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong.
No, he does bad things. He steals the money.
Yeah, he's a terrible person and all that. And
but his business know-how is probably the correct method for running an entire city in a town.
Right. Well, the whole movie is premised on this idea that Mr. Bailey is convinced to give
out money,
reinvigorate his sense for life by seeing what life would have been without him had he never been born. Right. And it's like, okay, all of these things don't happen. The town's completely different. But I just found myself thinking, well, what happens if Mr. Potter pulled all this money and, Atlas just shrugged on this one and, I mean, those investments matter, right? I mean, look, I'm not defending the villain, okay, please, but
Right, no, they try to do that in the movie by portraying like this very like grimy city.
Right.
If George Bailey wouldn't have been there and it was Pottersville, it would have been like full of clubs and like illegal sort of activity.
Sure.
But that, again, that is clearly a caricature of a character that, usually doesn't have to be that way. That just because you have capitalism, it will extend into that sort of township.
Yeah, I mean, it's an argument. I mean, it's why you need to have some moral standards rather than just total free.
Well, that's
right,
the thing.
Because then you do get the commercialization of the vices in a very excessive way.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing about that. What's beautiful about that movie is that the salvation comes from the core of his family and his immediate community. And none of that is incongruous with capitalism, with free markets,
of course not.
with, and not even with individualism, right? Like, I think a lot of people who watch that movie see it as a, kind of a critique of individualism and, this sort of selfish desire to, leave and be adventurous and pursue but it's like, you can do that within the context of having a family, of developing community. And that's not just possible, but I think, necessary. I mean, this quote has been misattributed more than I can remember, so I won't even try and attribute it to the right person, but it's this idea that, freedom only works for immoral people.
Yes.
And I think there's actually truth to that.
So I was reading Centesimus Annus by Pope John Paul II. That was the encyclical. Actually, funnily, it was published May 1st, Workers' Day, 1991, right after the fall of the Soviet Union. And it was on the 100th anniversary of the encyclical Rerum Novarum of Pope Leo XIII, from which the current Pope received his name. Which is the Catholic social teaching, meaning the teaching of the Catholic Church around the economy, capitalism, socialism. What John Paul II says is that, and I actually just posted this on my social media, the Marxist solution has failed. Like that, Pope John Paul II declares that. But then he said, well, I mean, Polish too, he's very right. He saw it. But he talks about, if all that capitalism just means is the free economy, right, free trade, and these, the ability to start businesses and own private property, then yes, that is the solution to our material needs.
Right.
But if what capitalism is totally no restrictions at all, like we're going to just legalize prostitution, right, and exactly, people are going to be able to freely trade their bodies or whatever, exactly, that is not the solution. And I think that that's exactly the division here. We want private property, we want free markets, but we also want some moral guidance.
I mean, John Adams, one of my favorite quotes by the American founding fathers, he said, "This will only work, this experiment, this social contract, this declaration is wholly for a religious people." And I don't think he necessarily meant you have to be like a certain type of religion. Sure. But what he was saying is that the Declaration of Independence and the social contract, based on the ideas of the Enlightenment and across Europe, it's only these the inability for the government to impinge on your rights, but it doesn't tell you how to live a moral and proper life. It's not a guidance. And that thing of the positive could only be added by this other framework of the church or the synagogue or whatever virtue you have in your life. And once you remove that, I think we are at a loss. And I think going back to It's a Wonderful Life, I think nowadays the culture is that there's this trade-off between like maximizing your personal happiness, right, and living for others. And that's why there's marriage decline and birth rate is fertility down, and
right,
and excessive individualism.
Yeah, and people are like, why would I have a kid? I want to be a dink, double income, no kids, live my life. And I think what the message is that's George Bailey, right? He wants to travel, and he actually does. He's not just trying to live like frivolously for fun. He wants to travel and become educated, which is some sort of higher calling. But still, the movie is saying to him, all those things that you thought were holding you back, whether it was caring for your father, your brother, your business, this small town, those are the things that they weren't holding you back at all. They were they gave you that wonderful life. And as his brother said, you're the richest man in town.
That's the best part, because his brother in a lot of ways lives the life that he always wanted to live, and yet comes back envying the one who feels like he lost out. And that's the thing. It's like, those things are not incompatible, right? You can pursue your own betterment. You can pursue your ambitions within the context of these other things that bind and ground you, right? Like a family is an institution that does place restrictions on you in terms of, like you're no longer living just for yourself. You have to subordinate your interests to those of the people in your family. But it is in your self-interest to do that in the long term, because that is the only way that you get to experience the love and amazing moments. And it's like, I think about, my life, and it's like the best moments in my life have nothing to do with an accomplishment, like, publishing something or getting to testify before Congress, or, getting some kind of win at work, getting to travel, buying something nice for myself. Like none of that will ever come close to like the happiness I get at, 6:45 a.m. when my daughter crawls into bed and wakes me up, and it's like it's amazing that
except when it's at like 1 a.m.
Just kidding. I'm a new time parent actually.
Yeah,
and I could say like you will lose sleep.
Yeah,
you will not be able to watch and binge watch your TV shows.
Right.
You will not be able to buy the same Starbucks that you may have been used to.
Right.
And you may not get to travel for a few years as you wanted to, but there is nothing like seeing the smile looking back at you when, whatever time, and I think it's, and people think it's a trade-off, and why would you sacrifice like all these great things you have going for you? And it's like, it's not a sacrifice.
Well, because it's also, I think when we talk about individualism, we talk about all our rights and we forget about all our duties.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, well, that's the...
right? Well, I think people want rights without duties. And that's where the problem comes from.
There's been, not to talk about policy, but there has been an expansion of government in the promises that they,
That's right.
Because as we want to do less, we also want to receive more.
Right.
It's like it's creating this unsustainable.
I think ultimately, even though I have a very deep libertarian streak, I think that's the thing that always made me identify as a conservative more, was that I subscribe to this idea that ultimately, there are certain duties that you should want to incur because those duties make your life richer. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons why someone like Jordan Peterson really spoke to such a large audience and resonated. Right. Yeah. I mean, there is a power and meaning that comes with the adoption of responsibilities that force you to subordinate your immediate desires for something better. And that works on the individual level too. I mean, we see that, right?
Well, so far I've only been talking even about just the individual level, not even on the policy.
Right. No, but I'm saying in the individual level, but also at the family level. But at the individual level, right? If you think about the things that, are enjoyable, or the moments where you feel a sense of triumph, right? It'll usually surround things like work, educational attainment. All of those things require sacrifice of something. All of those things require diligence, require you to push through some sense of discomfort, right? Physical fitness, right, is a prime example of that, right? You can't really achieve the body that you like seeing in the mirror without, going through terrible workouts and, moderating your diet, eating enough protein, not eating, too many calories or donuts, which is, I mean, I was salivating as you were speaking earlier. So yeah, I mean, that to me is one of those messages that I think is probably the right one to take away from a movie like It's a Wonderful Life. But I was watching it, I couldn't help the capitalist and being like, wait a minute, I think Mr. Potter's getting a bit of a bad rap. It's not, you can be a good capitalist and still be ruthless and cold in terms of how you do your business without...
Most capitalists aren't that ruthless and cold as they're portrayed in the movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually been one of the things that I love about this world that we're in, because, a lot of the organizations in, conservative Inc., whatever you want to call it, rely on philanthropic support. And it just blows my mind constantly how you have so many people who could very easily check out and not pay a price for it. They have everything that they need to insulate themselves from the downsides of bad policy, to insulate themselves from
all of
crime,
America's wealthy people could go live in a tax haven.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet they don't, because they care.
Yeah.
They donate not just, to conservative causes. This is really a tiny fraction of all donations.
Right.
Nothing. Less than 1% perhaps. We're talking really, it's health stuff, it's education, nonprofits, helping people out of prison, crime, everything.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there are, the reality is that the kind of person who achieves that level of financial success is generally of the temperament that usually comes with or comports with an incredible amount of generosity. I mean, these people are parting with not just their treasure, but their time and their energy and their effort in order to do what they think is going to make the world a better place, even though they're not getting anything in return for it. And that's actually much more typical of someone who's in the position of a Mr. Potter than I think what was portrayed in that movie. And that is my only gripe. That is the only,
also in Catholic teaching, and this is where a lot of socialists really get to their belief that the rich should give everything that they have, is a principle called the universal destination of goods, which is that, eventually, if you're really wealthy, you should really just donate everything you have. Or you don't need it that much. So the government should take it from you. That's their conclusion. When in reality, what the principle is about is that if you got to build the wealth that you did legitimately, I'm not talking about stealing, right? If you're like Maduro in Venezuela, you didn't build your wealth. Right. Yes, we need to take it back from you. But if you are Bill Gates, right? And I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Bill Gates personally, of how he uses his wealth, but he built it because he's really smart. He knows how to do it. Therefore, you know what? I think he's actually more intelligent in how to spend it and donate it than the U.S. federal government and some bureaucrat in an office in the department of whatever.
Yeah, no,
and that's the point, right? That the rich, because they got there legitimately, they're actually in a very good position to donate. Think about Michael Dell recently, what he did. What an amazing thing. He's donating $6.25 billion to America's children under 10 years old so that they can have an investment account so that when they're 18, they all have thousands of dollars, tax deferred that they can use to buy a home, to go to college. This is out of the generosity of having built an amazing enterprise from which we bought his computers. I had a Dell computer for many years.
I was always a Mac guy, but
yeah, sorry to hear that.
I'm a Dell fan. I'm not an iOS fan. It's okay. But the point is, this is another great example of such principle.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. So, all right. Well, we talked about It's a Wonderful Life, but I'm curious as to what your other favorite Christmas time movies are. I don't think it gets better than Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. If you're talking about Christmas in New York, Home Alone 1 is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely crucial. Watch it. It makes Home Alone 2 better. But, Lost in New York the Plaza Hotel, Donald Trump making a cameo, although I think he's actually been erased from the version. That is erasure.
But maybe he wasn't erasing all of them. Maybe just a couple streaming platforms.
Yeah, I think on some of the streaming platforms. But it's just like, you know what? Like, actually, that guy saved the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah. Also, what's the why? Just because, what's the justification for? Is it that bad? There are a lot worse people. There are a lot worse people who have produced and directed.
Correct.
That's for sure.
That's right.
So Home Alone 2, because I think they also go to FAO Schwartz. Right?
They go to FAO
That's
Schwartz.
A big part of it, which that was also an iconic. It's kind of sad that they moved. They closed, but now they're reopened. But it's much smaller than it used to be.
It is.
I remember the FAO Schwartz from big. That was
Isn't that where the Apple store is now?
I think so.
Yeah,
it was huge.
That used to be FAO. It was like a massive toy store.
Okay, I didn't know.
It was like
you could go and
the toy store I really like is the Lego one.
That's a good one. But they would just let you play with it's a kid. It was a kid's wonderland. You would just go play, and they had this massive piano that was very iconic where you had to jump on the notes in order to play the sounds.
But I don't ever think we ever even went in there because most of that stuff was too expensive. But we didn't buy
anything, but they let you.
Right.
It's great marketing.
We used to go.
I guess that's why they closed.
Do you remember the Toys R Us in Times Square? They had a roller coaster inside of it.
Ferris wheel.
It was Jurassic. That was one of my favorite things to do as a kid.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing to do.
But underratedly, I don't know if it's underrated. Elf is
great.
Will Ferrell at his best.
Yes. That movie's hysterical.
Iconic. Also, Central Park making a great appearance in the third act of that movie. So,
and Central Park has really made a comeback too. Home Alone 2, right? One of the one of the iconic lines there, right? You had the birth lady, right?
Well, in Home Alone 2, they're in Central Park a lot of the time.
Right. Well, he's running away from them at one point, and he gets away in Central Park, and Harry and Marv turn to each other and go, he'll be dead in a couple hours,
really?
right? Even grown men walk into the park and don't come out at night. Yeah,
back in the day,
right? Back in the day, that was true, and New York has changed so much. And it's I go back and I watch those movies, and I just appreciate how much better we have it, and it makes me want to strangle all the people who have this stupid sense of pride in the grittiness of New York, and it's I'm now a real New Yorker because a homeless person peed on me on
the third world.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the street market of the illegal immigrants selling illegal goods in towels in the middle of the sidewalk.
Look how charming. Trademark infringement. It's
no, and drugs and illegal all of it. Yeah, I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I prefer it Home Alone 1.
Home Alone 1.
And the reason is actually really funny. So, it's in his home, right? And it's like the home invaders. One of the fears we always had in Venezuela because of crime was like a home invasion. So I felt really identified with Home Alone 1.
Did you ever like heat up the doorknob ever?
No, not that. But I certainly had a lot of nightmares of home invasions growing up. So.
Wow. No, socialism's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know. You just don't know.
People don't know. We have it. For you guys, it was a movie. For us, it was
a documentary. It was a documentary.
It happened to us when I was a little baby, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
They took everything. They took our cars. They took even the baby formula my mom had for me. This was in the early 2000s.
Well, look, that was a reality for us here in New York in the 90s. I mean, like, I remember it was like 1991, 92. My neighbors used to babysit us. And so she was a teenager at the time, and she lived with her two parents who lived upstairs from us. And so my parents were going out to dinner, and they were getting ready to drop us off, but we were all coming back together, both families from wherever it was that we were going. So my parents walked us up. Her parents opened the door to the apartment. I remember her mom immediately breaking down. It was like right before Christmas too. Her mom immediately breaking down. And then I remember my dad pulling his gun out, like, because he was a cop.
Right.
And went in and cleared the apartment and made sure no one else was in there. And I just remember being like confused, like what's going on? Because there was just like this long hallway in front of the door. But I guess she could immediately see like that the place, what was left had been ransacked. But they took the TV, the VCR, they took a bunch of jewelry, all the cash that was in the house. And it was like it completely ruined their Christmas.
Yeah, that would do it.
But yeah, so I mean, look, that was everywhere. But like, I mean, what a comeback, right? I mean, New York is, by comparison, amazing.
Yeah, crime's at its lowest, they said.
Well, at least shootings and homicides for sure. Yeah. I mean, the other categories.
CVS robberies are
you know what's interesting? In Caracas, people prefer to live in buildings over houses because of the crime.
Yeah. It's
home invasions were much easier in a house rather than in a building. Except for there was this one robber that became famous because he climbed over buildings.
Spider-Man?
That was his nickname. He was Spider-Man. That's how he got into apartments.
Oh my goodness.
Spider-Man's from Queens, and that's where he stays.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought he went to high school in the Bronx.
No, Queens.
He went to Bronx Science.
No.
Maybe
in the movie.
Maybe in the movie, but no, the original comic,
his legacy
is
Queens. We have the Mets and Spider-Man. And right now I don't want to talk about the Mets.
He went to Bronx Science.
Nor should you ever want to talk about the Mets.
Didn't he go to college at Columbia? No, that was
again,
just one of the scenes.
I think that was just
one of the scenes.
I mean, someone from Queens could
theoretically
go to Columbia. That's okay.
Is that what you think? Just kidding.
All right, so there's one other sort of Christmas issue that I want to talk about, because I see this on X trending every year. It happened again, and it bugs me, which is you have these Grinches out there who say that they don't think kids should believe in Santa Claus, and they encourage people to ruin it for the kids.
Oh, well, Trump did do it in one call.
He did.
Remember, that was really funny, though. At your age, it's marginal. That is another Trump iconic moment.
That is a Trump
iconic
moment.
So there's actually people who think kids shouldn't believe in things.
Well, they say it's lying to kids. That you're lying to kids, that it's psychologically damaging, and that's true. We do lie to kids all the time. Usually like white lies, but it's like, actually, I don't think that there's any basis for this claim that it's A, a lie, or B, that it's psychologically damaging. I mean, the way that I have seen it is essentially what parents are doing is that they're engaging in a long, elaborate, and incredibly magical game of pretend with their kids. And it only lasts a few years. And I think it actually sets the stage for incredible lessons about like the power of metaphor. And like, it's like, yeah, Santa Claus isn't real insofar as like there's not a big fat man with a white beard who flies reindeer around the world in one night and delivers presents, right? But they're
careful. There are kids watching.
But there are people, right, i.e. your parents, who are keeping track of whether you're naughty or nice, and who are rewarding you or penalizing you on that basis, right?
It's very godly.
It's I mean, it's like, you know.
Well, I mean, this has a religious origin.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in Venezuela, we didn't believe in Santa. I mean, most kids didn't. We believed in baby Jesus.
Right.
I actually think it's a better thing to tell kids, just because.
Sure.
I mean, Jesus is real.
You chose the wrong hat.
So Santa comes from Saint Nicholas,
right?
He's
Right.
a Catholic saint. I was reading about him.
He makes an appearance in Narnia, by the way. Saint Nicholas.
Narnia has a lot of Christian references.
Well, it's a Christian
novel.
And C.S. Lewis is an amazing.
I must confess, I've never read the Chronicles of Narnia.
You have to read it, and there's it's a movie. And
it's
pretty good. The first one, at least, and he's like the turning point that brings. That's what he's the symbol of wonder and joy, and like you said, it's pretend. All kids pretend they build forts, they slay dragons with a hanger, and like and they play pirates and cowboys.
And kids do all these things, right? Even though they're not real. So it's silly to not believe.
It's like an adultification of childhood, and like that's just not the point.
Right.
It's the childification of adulthood and adultification.
Exactly. Right.
Actually, this is exactly what the left is about now that you say that.
That's a great point.
They want kids to be able to change their gender.
Right.
Oh, but don't believe in Santa. It's like, we're switching roles. I mean, the adults, stay with your parents, don't grow up.
Exactly. It's like, don't lie to your kids, but use their preferred pronouns.
Exactly. It's like
the preferred pronouns of their parents, actually.
I don't even think it's like, I don't think people really believe like, oh, you're lying to your kids. I think they believe like, I want my kids to be sophisticated and
it's like, you know what, actually,
even such trivial nonsense.
But what's going to end up happening is your kid's going to be the crash jerk, and no one's going to like them.
Traumatized. Yeah. Like they're going to be the kid who doesn't have any fun, has no friends. I hate to be hard. I think that's the reality. Like you're going to be this kid who's like, well, actually, rainbows are just products and certain light patterns. Like. No, it's a rainbow and you should love it. And it's enjoyable to see these great works of art and nature and beauty. And like, that's a good thing. And especially when you're a kid, that's when you appreciate 100%. Those things most, when you're unencumbered by like, the trials.
I've never believed anybody. I've never met anybody traumatized by having believed in Santa or whatever.
I have met people who were raised like to not believe in Santa as kids and like told me like I feel like I missed out.
Yeah, like what you're gonna say the tooth fairy doesn't exist? Like,
but it's like it's like the whole point is it's a magical game of pretend that like it's a metaphor. It's fun. Yes. It's it primes them for the ability to understand the power of faith in something, which I think is actually beautiful.
Yeah. Speaking, I hate to bring up C.S. Lewis. I feel like
on
the
for
podcast. C.S. Lewis, the Jew bring up C.S. Lewis is great. Every podcast. It's like that's all of his themes are basically about like recapturing the child within us. And he in the introduction to Narnia, he says this is to my goddaughter. Her name's Lucy Barfield, the daughter of his friend Owen Barfield, and he says, I wrote this when you were young. Now you're much older, but hopefully one day you'll be old enough to read fairy tales once again. And the themes of all of his works are that, as children, we're very idealistic and we have this wonder and this beauty that we could really tap into. And as adults, we become very cynical. Right. And we become, we become very hardened. And like adulthood should be about rediscovering the child, not as an escape, not as like, I want to escape the world, go to be this Disney adult.
Right.
Again, dink, no kid type, but as a way of like recapturing what is great about life.
Well, I think that's what having
cynicism.
I think that's what having kids does to you, right? I mean, it's like as you grow up and you become an adult and you navigate life, you have to narrow the scope of your vision. You have to focus on things. You have to make choices, right? I mean, like the world is full of infinite choices, right? If we just contemplated every single choice, like we would just stand still, right? Like I have to know where I'm going, or which in and of itself, reflects an element of faith, right? Because you have to, there's an element of faith that this is the right way to go and that what I'm pursuing is good for me. But anyway, it takes a great degree of sort of narrowing your vision to be a successful adult. But the beauty of kids, and I think one of the reasons why like it's just so wonderful to be around them, is that they are looking at the world as this like completely open place. Their vision hasn't narrowed yet, so their senses of possibilities are infinite, and that there's beauty in that. And so like you get to rediscover that as a parent. You get to reconnect with that sort of part of being a child, which is it's nice. It gives you hope. It gives you,
hope is
I mean, which is, and I think it counteracts the kind of cynicism that tends to come with adulthood, which is one of the reasons why I encourage you all to go out there, get married, have kids. It's amazing, the best thing in the world.
I thought first you were going to say to believe in Santa.
As a kid, that's right. Hey, maybe you'll get what you want. All right. Well, before we go, I want to know what's on your Christmas list. Like, what are we asking Santa for?
Oh, I mean, what is on my Christmas list is that I hope Venezuela becomes a free country. I'm sorry that I took it really serious, but that's been on my Christmas list since I was like conscious.
We just got to get Maduro on one of those boats.
I wrote letters to Baby Jesus. Baby Jesus, please let Chavez not be president anymore.
Wow.
That was me as a kid, and now we're getting closer, hopefully, with the strikes.
Yeah.
They just confiscate, they seized an oil tank for Trump.
By the way, I saw one of the
happy.
dumbest takes on that. Someone commented, I forget who it was on X, but they were showing the video of the people like rappelling down from the helicopters onto the oil tanker. And they're like, oh, so you can take a boat without blowing it up. It's like, you want them to blow up an oil tanker?
No. Also, there's different things here. The oil tank is very slow, not like the
right.
It's huge, right?
But you're also not going to spill tons of oil into the ocean.
Well, but also
environmental.
Wait. We can sell the oil. We can keep the. Sure. What are we going to do with the drugs? We're going to snort the cocaine? What do they expect?
Right.
Maybe those people.
Maybe Hunter Biden. If somebody else was in the White House, maybe the trade-off would have been
those fish are having a party, though. Let me tell you something.
But anyway, so I'm very happy about them seizing the oil tanker. I hope they seize many more of them, and I hope they do more so that Venezuela can once again be a free country. So that's on my Christmas.
All right.
I'm just hoping.
What are we asking for Hanukkah?
Spend more time with my family.
You guys are going to make me feel bad.
Yeah, listen, I would love to get some stuff. Maybe save up for some nice things for myself.
What do you want to buy? You want to buy some
watch?
I'd love to buy a watch right now. A nice watch. Maybe save up for that. But get some sleep. That would be nice.
That's right. You're a new parent.
Yeah.
How old's your baby?
She is about 2.5 months now.
I didn't know you had a team girl dad.
Yeah.
Man. Team girl
I'm
dad.
such a girl dad.
It's the best.
Everyone said, you're having a girl, you're a girl dad. I only grew up with sisters. Both my sisters, my 2 older sisters had boys. I have the girl. It's classic cycle.
Nice. I had my son first, but I got a girl too.
Yeah. We should do like some watch, recommendations on this podcast. I think, you're like a
he would be the guy.
John.
Oh,
John Ketchum's watch collection is
really
yes.
I don't want to reveal too much.
He's got taste.
Yeah, I got him a Christmas gift related to that a little bit. So
nice.
Maybe he'll bring that on the next podcast. But I want to hear your.
I mean, I don't know. A new watch would be nice. I'll always take a new watch.
You're hoping Hoyanet watches this podcast episode.
No, she can't afford any of the watches that I want. Neither can I. Which is why I don't have them. I don't know. I always wanted an Aquanaut. That's it's the base level stainless steel, the one, which is funny because that's the one you'll never get.
Yeah,
even though it's the least expensive one. You could have the money walk into Patek Philippe and they just won't sell it to you.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's
they rarely make down.
Yeah, it's
I was gonna say,
maybe one day.
An article there's this guy Elliot Ackerman, and he did How to Be a Gentleman series for Free Press, and he did a whole thing how a man should own a watch, and how it's not just.
I haven't read that. I got to read
that.
You
feel. My point is, you're not like a materialist. For coveting. It's not. You're loving the beautiful things in life, and it actually I think goes back to that wonder and like there's a craftsmanship there, and
there is
a respect for like this beautiful, intricate thing that you're just wearing and you have, and you kind of look down. It's like, oh, that's nice. And I think he's coming to speak to us next week, so you should tell him.
Nice. I will.
Yeah.
I'll have to pick a good watch to wear on that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll look him up.
Yeah. No, you should. You would like his stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. I want to thank you all for watching another episode of the City Journal podcast. We also want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate. We hope that you bring in the new year in the company of good friends and family, and we will see you again very soon.
Merry Christmas.